everyone. I'm Kelly Manzone. Happy Tuesday. I'm very grateful to be back for the month of August. For this month, we're going to focus on hip health. For today's class in particular, we're going to need 2 long sticks. So these are the 6-foot sticks that I'm using. If you don't own stick mobility, you could use PVC pipe, wooden dowel, whatever you have access to. We're also going to need, and it's okay if you don't have one, a light resistance band. We're going to be doing some hip flexion work later on in class. And we also need access to the ceiling or a beam above you. And if you need a towel or a pillow for your knee. We're going to start with our warm-up. Since we're focusing on our hips in particular today, we're going to begin with waking up our feet and working up. I'm going to go on a diagonal here. And in our stick mobility horse stance, you're going to stand a little bit wider than hip width. Soften into your knees. You're going to take your stick, angle the bottom of the stick in closer to you, top of the stick further out away from you. Your arm is going to be slightly lower than shoulder height. I have my right hand here, and then I'm going to take my left hand on the top. In the horse stance to start with, we're just going to work into our feet. So my outside right foot, I'm just going to releve, really kind of pressing down into the ball of the foot as I lift the heel, and working through the toes. Going to warm up a little bit of the calf and then the Achilles and the fascia in the bottom of our feet. So let's do 2 more on this side before we transition to the other side. And switch over to your left. Now I'm pressing down into the floor with the stick with maybe about 20-30% of my strength just to create a little bit of stability. Let's do 3 more on the left. Scan your body from time to time. Notice if you are coming out of your horse stance. Now switching back over to the right, I just want you to create an outward circle. So we're going to go clockwise, focusing on the foot-ankle complex. Rather than using the knee and the hip to initiate the movement, let's just do a few more here. Focusing on your breathing also, chin nice and neutral, eyes forward. You're keeping the back nice and long, transitioning over to the left. So you're going to feel that pressure go from the big toe outward to the pinky toe. On that left side, you're going to be going counterclockwise. Let's go for 3 more. Outward, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to face you head on. Now the camera flips me. So even though this is my left side, I'm going to call it my right. So we're going to releve on that right side, keeping the knee essentially still, working from that foot ankle. Just want you to go to the ball, big toe of the foot, and then outward. So instead of doing a circle, we'll just gliding inward and outward. Good. Let's do 2 more on this side before we transition over to the left, out to the pinky toe, and inward. Lower, transition to your left, going inward big toe, outward pinky toe. Now again, you're going to notice a little bit of a difference between your right and left side. Those of you that have had any previous foot or ankle injuries may feel this, like if you have a history of a sprained ankle. Let's do 2 more, inward, outward, excellent. 1 more. Take a moment, come out of your horse stance. I'm going to go back on a diagonal. So let's switch. So now I have the right hand on top, left hand on the bottom. And I just want you to take the top of your right foot back. Scoop your tailbone under. So I'm taking my hand to my hip line just for a little assistance. And as I tuck under, I'm going to squeeze that right glute. I'm pressing down into the floor with a stick. And now I'm stretching the top of the foot and the ankle. Hold here and breathe. You can also do a little rock out to the side and inward. Transition, other side. I'll switch. So standing up nice and tall. Left foot back. Scooping that tailbone under. Proud chest. Squeeze your glute. Hold for a moment. And then if you'd like, you could gently do a little articulation into the top of the foot. This feels awesome on the ankle in front of our shin, and gently release. Shake it out. I'm going to face you head on. We're in our horse stance once again. Let's take the right hand on top. working into our hips here. So I'm gonna gently kind of work into that left side. So in that horse stance, gripping the ground with the feet, I'm gonna hike up that left hip, little pinch into that waist, and then up and over to the right. So left, right. Now again, you want to initiate the movement first from the hip, not from the knee. Yep, let's do 2 more on each side. Excellent. 1 more to the left, 1 more to the right. Going on a diagonal here so you can see, you're in your horse stance. We're gonna go from an anterior pelvic tilt to a posterior pelvic tilt, working into the hips. So I'm driving down into the floor, again, with about 20-30% tension, and just going from a posterior to anterior tilt. Excellent. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. Scoop the tailbone under. Take a moment, come out of your horse stance, and shake your legs out. We're gonna warm up our full body now. So I'm gonna go on a diagonal here, taking an overhand hold on the stick. A little bit wider than hip width with the stance. Now we're gonna create tension with our stick here. So holding it at chest height, I'm gonna crush the stick. So I'm gonna push inward with the right and left hand, then hip hinge, reach down, glide forward. As I'm coming up, pull apart on the stick, squeeze the glutes, grip the ground with your feet, and then as you come upright again, crush the stick. Hip hinge, you're gonna focus on your breath, begin to pull apart, exhale, take the stick back in, crush the stick, reach, lean back. Just be mindful that you're not working into any pain. Here comes my puppy, she's coming to say hello. Reach back. Good, let's do 1 more. Big sweep, pull apart on the stick, and then come neutral. Going into bow and arrow. So bow and arrow is one of my favorite stick mobility drills, and there's so many variations, but since we're focusing on our hip line, we're gonna take the stick to the right and go on a little bit of a diagonal behind us, similar to a back bend. So I'm taking the stick on a diagonal, back behind me to the right. Bottom hand is where the sticker is at hip height. Might have to walk the stick in just a little bit. The top left hand, palm is gonna face forward with the thumb down. Then I'm gonna grip the ground with my feet, press the hips forward as you go into that bow and arrow. So that bottom arm is pressing out, shoulders down away from the ears. And that top arm, I'm gonna leverage just a little bit with that top arm to get some activation through the shoulder girdle down into the lat. Breathe, hold here. Slowly come out of it. We're gonna go up and over now to the left side. Same drill. That bottom hand in line with the hip, top right hand, that thumb facing down. Hips are gonna begin to press forward as you go into the bow. So you lead with the hips, then press out with the upper body. Same thing applies. So if you want, I'm obviously talking to a camera, you could angle and look back behind you as I'm talking you through this. Hold and breathe, so pull down a little bit with that top right arm, and then slowly come out of your bow and arrow. Going back over to our right side, you're gonna take your stick maybe about 3 inches out from the midline of your right foot. Bottom hand once again, sticker height, top left hand, palm facing forward. We're gonna press out with the hips first, then follow through with the upper body. Grip the ground with your feet. So if you're able to be barefoot in class or wear a minimalist shoe, that is recommended. So you can feel that connection with the ground, take your tailbone under. You're gonna do a little bit of flossing. So with this flossing, I'm taking my arms forward and then outward onto that frontal plane. Let's do 1 more. Forward, outward, hold here, and then slowly come out of your stretch. Gonna go over to left side now, bottom hand at the hip line, top right hand, palm facing forward, thumb down. Hips out first, now I'm driving down into the floor with the stick, and then reach with that upper body, taking the tailbone under, breathing, inhaling and exhaling nice and evenly. Your chin is staying neutral, going into a little bit of flossing. I just realized I did not put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I really hope we don't get interrupted with a phone call. Hold here for 1 moment, and now slowly come out of it. We're going to take it to the ground now for a hip stretch. Then we're going to go into a 2-stick hip stretch. Your right leg is going to be forward. Your left knee is going to come down to the ground. I'm going to take the stick to the outside of the right foot. Right palm is going to hold up nice and high. Now we want to be mindful that we don't have leaky hips. So we want to create stability. Anchor with the ball of your back foot and then squeeze your left glute and tuck that tailbone under. We're going to slide the stick underneath the right knee and thigh. That hand, top right hand, you're going to leverage. So pack that shoulder. You're going to get a gentle stretch here. You're going to squeeze again into that left glute, left hip forward, and that left arm is going to come across. So I am very tight today. I can feel how my body wants to kind of shift into leaky hip. I'm going to have to focus on gripping the ground with the feet and keeping that shoulder hip alignment. Now, your left arm is going to stay where it is. You're going to release that right hand. Get a little bit of a T-spine stretch. So think of lifting up and out of your hips. Look back. Eyes are going to lead your head. And exhale, come forward. So deep breath in. Exhale. Reach across, hold for a breath, keep squeezing that left glute, and then come forward and gently release. Going over to the other side, so you're going to stay in your lunge, use the stick if you need it for some stability to come up, and we transition. Left leg forward, right leg back behind us, anchored with the ball of the foot. When you're ready, take that pelvis, scoop under, squeeze your right glute, stick comes underneath the thigh. So you may find that one side feels a little bit more comfortable than the other. This one for me today feels a little bit awkward. So I'm going to watch my hip line, and if you have a mirror that you have in front of you, you could really use that visual cue too. The bottom right arm comes across. Release your left hand, inhale, exhale. Look behind you. Again, focus on lifting up and out of the rib cage. Come forward. Stay connected. Inhale, exhale. Reach behind you. Take a breath. And gently come forward. You're going to release. Slide the stick out. In your lunge, drive up, come to stand. We're going to go now into double stick lunge variation. I'm going to go on a diagonal this time. So we're going to take our sticks. Sometimes I have them right in line with my hips, close to the body. Today, I'm going to inch them a little bit further forward so that the sticks are going to frame my my left thigh. So my left leg on a diagonal here is my forward leg, and I'm going to angle the bottom of the sticks inward towards me. Taking a moment, like we did in the previous lunge, we're going to scoop that tailbone under. From here, I want you to take a moment, squeeze through the glute, and lengthen that back leg. So I've got energy drawing back through the heel behind me, and then pressing down into the floor with both sticks. And then take a moment, gently lower the knee. Hold, inhale, exhale, elevate that back knee. So think of pulling apart the mat below you. So you're really active with your feet. I'm pressing my left foot forward and I'm kind of tearing apart the mat below me, pushing back with the ball of the right foot. And gently lower. Now we're pulling back slightly, walk that left foot in. And now we're going to take the arms up high. So we're getting a little bit of a hanging sensation with our upper body. Coming back into that full lunge, eyes forward for a moment. I want you to hinge your body weight over the top of the left thigh and then drop into your stretch a little bit deeper. So instead of being hold back with my upper body, I have a very slight forward lean. And then I'm going to rotate outward into the open hip, pushing down into the sticks, and then rotate inward. So it's slight. We're not rotating too far here. And again, open, small rotation into the outside hip. Try to have that nice length with the arms. Again, you're getting that nice sensation of hanging. Now I'm going to take this top arm and I'm going to cross over my midline with that top right arm, just a little bit on this one. And then come through center, push down into the sticks, come to stand. Give your legs a good shake out. Now we're going to transition to the other side. Right leg is going to be forward, left leg is back. When we begin, instead of the sticks in line with the hips, they're framing the front thigh. Arms are going to be lengthened, right in line with the shoulders, slightly higher or slightly lower, whatever you're comfortable with. You're going to take a moment to engage that back left glute, scoop the tailbone under, and from here, elevate that back knee. So again, we have that sensation of pulling apart the mat below us. I'm pushing back with the ball of my left foot, focusing on that hip. Going to drop a little bit deeper into the stretch on this side. Take a moment, lower the knee. We got one more here. Elevate your knee, press back, squeeze the glute, proud chest. I'm pushing down into the sticks. So remember, you're staying nice and connected here, creating that stability, and gently lower. Slide your right foot in just slightly. Now sticks are going to go directly in line with our hips. Find a moment here where you could find a comfortable length through those arms, getting that gentle hanging sensation. You shouldn't have your shoulders rounding forward or your chin collapsing down. So chin neutral, elevate that back knee. Take a moment to hang, squeeze your glute, open gently, so we're not opening too far into our open left hip, and then slowly inward, activating a bit of that T-spine. One more here, open outward into the left. You're still pushing down into the sticks. Now on this one, you could take your top left arm, that across your midline just a little bit here. Watch for the leaky hips. Try to stay centered with those hips. And we come through center, drive down into the sticks. Come to stand and shake your legs out. So we're now getting into a bit of our strength work here. Have your resistance band nearby. If you don't have one, you could still do the hip flexion without the band. Before we do that though, we're going to work a little bit of internal and external rotation. First off, we're going to take our sticks out to 3 and 9 o'clock, directly out to our sides. Bottom of the sticks are going to angle in closer to you, top of the sticks outward. If you are struggling with your balance, if needed, you could bend your elbows slightly, but please be aware of your posture. So you're stepping your feet in. I'm going to flex my right foot, and we're just going to take our right foot, the outside of it, and press against the bottom of our stick. Foot is flexed, toes facing forward, proud chest. So your tailbone should be under you, not behind you. You're not hinging, and we're just kind of going to activate that glute there, waking up our core here too. So flex and push. Stay upright, drive down into the sticks, about 30% tension, maybe 40%. Hold 5 more counts. Hold 1, 2, don't forget to breathe, 3, 4, and once you complete 5, take a moment, shake it out. Subtle but effective. We're going to do 2 on each side. So reclaim your position, lengthen those arms, press down into the sticks, elevate your right foot, keeping the foot flexed. Now that leg is really active. So my supporting left leg, I'm not sticking the hip out. I'm keeping nice and stacked. Press. You're engaging the quad of your front, or excuse me, that right foot, or right leg. I can't talk today. My bad. hold, and release. Shake it out. Now we're going over to the left side. If you need to give your upper body a second, shake out your upper body. Reclaim 3 and 9 o'clock. Step in, standing tall. We're going to flex that left foot. Push out to the side, directly out to side. So you're staying parallel with that foot. Hold 5 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Shake it out. Second set. Lengthening, driving down into the floor. Stack, flex, engage that leg so that outside your glute is firing. Tailbone under. Hold here. Focus on your breath. Notice if you're leaning out to your right. And release. Excellent. Okay, getting into our internal and external rotation of the hips before we do our band exercise. Instead of being at 3 and 9, we're going to angle around 11 and 1. If you have any issues with your balance, you could take the hands in closer, so by bending those elbows. We are really working our back muscles here too. If you can though, try to maintain the length of the arm. So I'm stepping in here, sorry, I'm not stepping in, I'm taking the sticks away from me at 11 and 1, and we're gonna draw our left knee up. So we're in hip flexion here, and we're gonna externally rotate. So essentially I'm keeping my left knee in place, and then I'm going to externally rotate. The arch of the ball of my left foot is going to press into the stick to my right. Hold, hold, hold. Already shaking. Release, keeping the knee essentially still. And then you're going to internally rotate. Outside the foot, pressing into the stick to your left. Remember, we want to avoid leaky hip, so we're standing up nice and tall and push. Really fire into the hip. Breathe. Come center and release. It's amazing how this subtle exercise is incredibly effective. Going over to the other side, take the right leg up. We're going to externally rotate, so the right ball of the foot, right arch of the foot, I should say, is coming across to the left. And I'm pushing in with about 60% of my strength, maybe up to 70%. Hold, hold, oops. You can feel this side, my leg is burning. And then come through center, and then internally rotate. Press out with your strength, stand nice and tall. Keep driving down into the floor with the sticks. Good. Come center and release. Take a moment to shake it out. We've got one more on each side. Standing tall. Bring up that left leg. Let's go external, push. So arch of the foot pressing to the right. Really drive into the floor, drive into that stick. You should be quivering. Breathe. Little beads of sweat starting to form. Come through center, and then internal. Push. Stand tall. Keep that tailbone under, right? Hold here, and release. Back over to our right. Find your position. Drive up that right leg. Let's go external. So the ball of that right foot, come across, push. Breathe. You're pressing the arch of the foot into the stick. Maintain the height of the knee. Should be quivering through center, and now internal. So we're pushing the outside of the foot into the stick to our right. Focus on your alignment and release. Those are sneaky. Okay, moving on, take a moment, shake it out. If you have that resistance band, please grab it now, grab a sip of water. We're gonna do 3 on each side. So this band here is a medium light band, and I'm just going to step in, placing the band right over the top of the foot. So it's under the foot and on top of the foot. We're going to go back to the position of 11 and 1 o'clock with the alignment of our sticks. Standing nice and tall, beginning with the right leg. So I want you to flex your right foot and come up into hip extension. Pull up, stand nice and tall. We're holding here for 3 counts. Hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, and gently lower. So I noticed right there, and this is where like working in front of a mirror could be really helpful, that as I start to fatigue, I did a lot of rowing and kettlebell sport the other day, so my hips are tired, and I could feel how my body weight was shifting. So I want you to be kind of aware, take little notes of which side feels a little fatigued, or if you have weakness in an area or tightness, come up and hold 3 counts, you're still, hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, and release. Now on the last one on this side, we're going to add a little bit of a balance challenge. Since the right leg is forward and elevated, I'm going to lift the left arm. So find your alignment, drive down into the sticks. A lot of core stability and strength here too. Start to draw that right leg up, flex the foot, squeeze the opposite left glute, and now elevate that left arm. Hold 3 counts. Hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, and release. So you'll notice with me talking, our holds were about a total of 5 seconds on each side, even though I did start the count on 3. So that's typically how long I like to hold these. You could always hold a little bit longer, up to 10 seconds if you'd like. So transitioning now, left leg, find your alignment. Your upper body is working here too. So core on, flex. We have 3 counts. We're still, hold 1, hold 2, keep that tension, and release. Excellent. 2 more to go. On the last one, we're going to elevate that right arm. Flex, drive down, stand tall, breathe. Squeeze that opposite right glute, 3 counts, hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, and release. 1 more, and the right arm is going to elevate. Shake it out, flex the foot, drop into that hip flexion, draw in your core, proud chest, elevate that right arm, press down through the left, hold 3 counts, hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, and release. Well done. Okay, take a moment. We're going to take 1 stick down. Before we get into our kind of stretching portion of class, I just want to do 1 more element, and we're going to do the Dumpy squat. We're going to go 3 on each side. Now, if you're like me, I got a ceiling that really kind of marks up. You could always use a magic eraser on the ceiling. Mine are all still there. I haven't cleaned it in a while. But anyway, I'm going to go in a diagonal here, and I'm going to take my hands right in line with my belly button, slightly under. Now we're going to create tension by pushing upward into the ceiling with our stick as we descend down into our squat and as we come out of it. Dumpy squat is, again, one of my favorite stick mobility exercises. I feel like I say that about nearly everything. But anywho, driving upward. As you're coming down, we're going to come down 4 counts. So start to descend into your squat. Your elbows are going to come in. Watch the alignment with your pelvis. So no tension in the neck. Chest is open, grip the ground with the feet, and then slowly, slowly come to stand. Good. Let's do 2 more here. Push upward into the ceiling. Watch your alignment again with your pelvis. Elbows start to draw inward. Breathe. Keep drawing up. 70% of your strength or more. And now slowly come up. Excellent. One more on that 4 count. Push. Breathe. Go slow. Come down. Hold here. 4 counts. Hold 1. Hold 2. Hold 3. And on 4, slowly resist. Come up. Excellent. Release. Sweating up a storm. Okay. Gonna go into some dead bugs. Just a little bit of core work here. Gonna do a straight leg dead bug. But if you have any issues with your hamstrings or your lower back and you're more comfortable with doing a bent knee, which I'll demonstrate, you can do that. Okay. Just make sure I have space here. So straight leg is obviously what it's called. My heels are pressing upward towards the ceiling, and you could have your head up or down. You have that tip up of the tailbone, so your core muscles are really drawn in, rib cage closed, and you're gonna lower one leg at a time. If you prefer bent knee, you would just have the knees right in line with the hips and lengthen the leg. Inhale, exhale, draw back up to start. So we're gonna do 6. It's just gonna be 3 on each side, but I want you to give it your maximum amount of pressure, pushing the stick into the thighs and then thighs forward without losing the integrity of your center. Okay. Pick your poison, straight leg or bent, and then head up or down, tip up that tailbone, really push nice and slow. Right leg lowers, inhale, exhale, take it back up to the top. Transition, stay connected, left leg lowers, inhale, exhale, slowly up. Right leg, simple but effective. Slower you go, the harder. The more you push into the stick, the more challenging it can become. Good. 1 more each side. Nice and slow. Slowly come up. Last one. Take a breath. Inhale, exhale. Right back up. And release. Simple but effective. Now, we're going to go into another dead bug variation. This time, just an active hold with our knees bent. And I'm going to pivot around so I can see my timer. I've had the same timer for 20 years. Okay, so ankles in line with the knees, knees above the hip line, head could be up or down. And I just want you to push the thighs forward and then the palms into the stick. Just going to watch my timer here. Keep holding, so you have 10 seconds. Breathe. Last 5 count here. Stay with that. And release. Take your stick to the side, and then we're just going to do a couple of wipers with our legs. So feet are flat, knees bent. Take the knees over to your left. Look over to your right. And then knees to your right. Look over to your left. Okay, excellent. Now, how are we doing for time? Okay, I'm going to add in one more strength element, and it is a staggered stance lunge with the rotation of the T-spine where we pull apart the stick and press into the stick. We're just going to do 2 on each side. When I was out in Vegas with stick mobility for the IDA fitness convention in Vegas last weekend, I hadn't done this one in a long time, and Neil brought it into the class, and I was like, yes, I have to revisit this. So I'm going to go on the diagonal here. Left leg is forward. You're anchored with the ball of the back right leg. So instead of being upright, I want you to take your body weight over the top of that front left leg. Now, while you're here, we're going to pull apart on the stick. And then I want you to rotate, eyes leading the head, over, keep pulling part on the stick. Now, crush the stick and slowly come back to center. Good. Now you're doing the same thing with your feet. Pull apart on the mat below you, eyes leading the head. Keep that alignment, push, crush the stick. Let's do 3, why not? Okay, keep that forward hinge, pack those shoulders, pull apart, follow through, don't hold your breath. Reach, reach, reach. Working the hip here too. Crush the stick as you come back to center. Woo, love those. Okay, other side. Right leg forward, left leg back. Watch for leaky hips, we talked about that earlier. Elevate that back heel, body weight over the top of that right leg. Really drive down through the foot, activate your glute. We're working that hip here. Hinging forward, pull apart. So you'll notice the difference between your dominant and less dominant leg possibly. So my right leg is less dominant. This one for me is a lot more challenging. So you're pulling apart, eyes leading the head, breathe, push, come back to center. So we're thinking of like a 3 count, I guess, 3 or 4 count as you pull apart, follow through, burn in, stay with it, push, and come back to center. Whew. Love those. Okay, now we're getting to our stretching portion. Guitar Hero. I love this one. We're gonna take the right leg out to the side, toes facing out, knee in line with the hip. Your back left leg, we're gonna windshield wiper that back foot in shin. I like to anchor with the ball of the foot or top of the foot down. Depends on how tight I am. I'm gonna go ball of the foot today. So right hand, palm is facing up. Left hand, I'm gonna come across my midline and push down into the stick. As I'm pushing down tension into the stick, I'm gonna send my left hip forward. So you're gonna do the same. Right hand, palm facing up, right leg out to the side, windshield wiper. Notice that hip line, try not to sink, proud chest. And then I'm coming across, pushing tension. Pressing the hip forward and breathing. Keeping your breath nice and balanced. Watch that rib cage. Try to stay upright. Hold. And slowly come out of it. Sorry. I just need a quick sip of water here. Going back into Guitar Hero on the same side. We're going to do 2 on each side. Take a breath. Palm up. Stick is across that body. And push. Setting that hip forward. Squeeze the glute. 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and release. Take a moment, come to stand, and shake your legs out. And then we're going to go over to the other side. So now's the time, I should have mentioned it before, if you need the pillow or pad for your knee, you could use it for that back right knee. Left out to the side, left palm facing up. The side feels a lot looser. Coming across that midline, drive down. So I'm anchoring, pulling with that top arm as the bottom hip is pressing forward and I'm pressing down with that bottom right arm. Hold here. Keep squeezing that back right glute. Breathe. Your hips should be feeling pretty good. And take a moment. Ease off. Shake it out. And go into rep 2. Pulling back with that top arm. Breathe, proud chest. Keep squeezing that right glute. Use your feet. So that's going to create the stability. 4 counts here still. Hold 1. Hold 2. Hold 3. And on 4 here, we're gonna slowly come out of it, come to stand, and shake it out. Okay, bow and arrow, crossing one foot over the other. So our left leg is gonna cross over the right. You're gonna have to really grip the ground with your feet. You're gonna get a little bit into lateral lines here. So depending on your ability to press out into that bow, your stick can be close to you. I'm gonna take mine further out. Bottom hand, again, at that hip line. Right hand, hips first, upper body second. Tailbone under, and now angle, look upward towards the ceiling. And I just want you to breathe into this stretch. Kind of accept it, right? Drop that inside shoulder down away from your ear and slowly come out of it. Gonna go over to the other side. So left over right. Bottom hand at the hip line. Both hips are facing forward. So sometimes the tendency is to kind of compensate a little bit with this one and pull that inside hip back. If you can, try to stay nice and squared with the hip line. Send the hips out first, upper body second. The side's a little bit harder for me today. Drop that inside shoulder. Again, breathe. Keep tension out of the neck. Focus on those lateral lines. As your body starts to give into it, right, you can even go a little bit further out, going deeper into your hip, and release. So we're gonna take our stick here with the palms facing up. Heel toe outward, so you're in that nice wide stance. We're gonna go left to the right. So left side, we're gonna come across to our right, hook it to the outside of our right foot, and go into a little bit of a ninja stretch here. Breathe. Now, pulling apart the floor, look upward towards the ceiling, and then downward towards the floor. Take a moment to come out of it. Take a breath, inhale, exhale, go right back into your stretch. Hold here 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4, we come out of it. Then heel toe in. Take a moment and just reach. A little bit of a hang here, getting into the front line. Down the forearm, into the bicep, into the shoulder, a little bit into the pec. Good. Take the left hand, come upright, heel toe back out, right over to the left, come across, and this side it feels a lot more comfortable. Hold here, look down, look up. You're still actively pulling apart the floor, getting that nice stretch through the interior of that leg. Pull back, stay here, breathe. As you come out of it, heel toe in a little closer. Let that left arm stay upright, reach the right hand down. Breathe. Take your right hand across and come to stand. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to kind of take some of today's concepts and build on it next week. I'm Kelly Manzone at KelsBells88 on Instagram. You could always reach out. I'm open to feedback. And this